welcome you folks. We're delighted to have you with us this afternoon. This is Tuesday afternoon, the 6th of April of 2021. I'm Don Snow, and I'm in St. George, Utah, down in the south part of the state. And Gerhard Roof, who's our host, is from the UV TAG group, Utah Valley Technology and Genealogy Group. He's up in Orem, Utah, in the northern part of the state. And we've got people from around the country that are attending with us, both on Zoom, and then a few will be on Facebook later on, because we run these live on Facebook as well as on Zoom. Today, our topic is Rootstech Connect 2021, and in particular, the website that had. That was just a wonderful presentation, and and it's going to be online now for free for the next year. And so we want to tell you a little bit about the website and what's on there. Now, to get to that website, the first thing you go to is rootstech.org, and that's easy to remember. And that'll take you to the current version. Earlier versions of Rootstech from previous years, stuff they've recorded is also on there. And so you can find a whole lot of stuff from keynote addresses and a lot of other things on there from the past. Now, what's on the Rootstech Connect 2021 is it was a virtual conference because of the pandemic, the coronavirus COVID-19 worldwide pandemic. Everything was virtual. This is the first time that Rootstech has been virtual. Rootstech started in 2011 in the Salt Palace in Salt Lake. And they ran it for every year. And it started off with 3,000 or 4,000 people, and it built up. By the time it was 2020, it was up to around 30,000 people. Yeah. And then the pandemic hit. And so they decided they would run it, make it entirely virtual, nothing in person on at all. So everything is online, and it's still online. They announced it would be online and free, completely free for the next year. Somebody got a question? I hear, okay. The goal of this one was to connect people worldwide. And so besides family history stuff and genealogy stuff on there, there's all kinds of other connections, and you'll see some of this on there. There were 1,500 sessions or classes. They called them sessions, but they're classes, plus a bunch of keynotes, I think 8 or 10 keynote addresses. And all of that is online now and available on demand, so you can click on it, and it's all free. There were 250 presenters, and they came from many different countries and in different languages. There must have been, I don't know, 10 or 15 different languages that classes were given in, because in some of the cases where they were talking about, well, I remember there were Mongolian genealogy classes, those were taught in Mongolian.
Wow.
And so all the stuff was available, but there's subtitles that you can watch any of these in any other language. And I'll show you a little bit about that when we get in a couple of minutes. They all had handouts and other resources that are on there, and there was vendor information for all the different kinds of things that relate to genealogy stuff. Now, let me show you so you don't have to worry about class notes. Let me give you a quick overview of the class notes, and the details are on there, and the notes are long, much longer than I normally do for these shorter classes. But let me show you what they look like so that you can see what they are. Gerhard will post the link in the chat box for Zoom, and they'll be online as well. Now, I got it set up, if I can find where it is on here. Where is it? Meeting, Rootstech Connect, that's on here. Okay, here we go. This is that link that I showed you, and that we'll show you again, and that's what Gerhard will post in there, is this is the my class notes page. On here, there's a bunch of other websites on here. And by the way, in this freeware corner articles. I'm going to hold down the control key and click on that for a minute. There was an article that I wrote last month. That's this one right here for I call it Dawn's Freeware Corner. For the March one was on the Rootstech Connect website. And you may find more information in that than some of the things that we'll talk about here. Now, as you scroll down a little bit, here's Dawn's classes coming up. Down in the past year, there's past classes and links to all the notes, etc. There's a link right there. This is the class for today, item number 1 here, 2021-04-06. That's April 6th today, first Tuesday. And I'm gonna, if I hold down the control key and click, I've already opened it up, so it's up here, but that's what you'll get is exactly these notes. Now, let me go through these notes quickly and show you what's there so that you can see, because everything we talk about, the details will be in here and you won't have to write them down, links and all that sort of thing. There's a welcome and the introduction and what we're doing today. The Rootstech Connect 2021, here's information about it. There's a link to it, that rootstech.com. Not .com. It's a .org, so it's nonprofit. It's not .com. Click on that, and there's the information about what the program was all about. The next item in here is the Rootstech Connect website, and on the website, the engineers could not find anything that was big enough to handle the number of people that they anticipated for this, so they had to write their own website.
Yeah.
The Family Search website. Is another question that somebody has? I just heard somebody with their microphone on. Okay. Anyway, they wrote their own website and they did a wonderful job. They kept thinking, well, we may have 50,000 people, maybe 100,000. Elder Bednar, who's one of the quorum of the 12 apostles, kept saying, no, think bigger, think bigger. And they said, well, maybe 50,000. No, bigger, he said. They ended up with over 1 million people. He said, think millions. There were 1.2 million people that ended up signing up for this thing. It was just an enormous success on it. It had classes and handouts and vendor information and all this sort of thing. And it's all free. It was, they said, we'll make this free. We'll make it virtual. So you don't have to pay plane fare to get here. You don't have to pay hotel bills and food bills and all the travel, all this other stuff. It really turned out to be something. So we're going to talk more about that website and what's on there. These are some of the other things that we'll be discussing. When you sign up for a free account on there, you get a playlist where you can store your stuff. And I'll show you what the stuff you're interested in watching of these 1,500 different classes and so on. You can sign in. You don't have to. You can watch anything, but without signing in. But if you do sign in, then you get some additional options like that, my playlist and so on. The class sessions of the 1,500 sessions were mostly short. They're from 5 to 20 minutes long. So they were not hour-long classes, the vast majority. And they did that on purpose. And it turns out that was a stroke of genius, whoever came up with that, because people would learn about something and then they would try it out right then. If you're like me and I sit through an hour class, I think, oh gosh, there's 2 or 3 things I got to try here. I'll do it. I never get around to it. But with these shorter classes, I ended up, and several other people have told me the same thing, trying it out right then afterwards, after you saw it. And so it turned out to be a really beneficial way of doing it. There's a search box and you can find what you're looking for, and we'll discuss that. They had a program called Relatives at Rootstech. That's no longer available, but during the 3 days of the conference, which were February 25th, 26th, and 27th, if you signed on to that, after you had to sign in with an account, and then you'd sign on to this, and you logged in with your account for Family Search, they would tell you how you were related to other people who were there at Rootstech. And they did it by going to your Family Search link on the family tree, going back 10 generations on your ancestors and 10 generations on everybody else's, and finding where there were matches. And then they'd give you a list And of course, that list built up more and more as more people tried this and signed on. But only about half the people that attended Rootstech ever signed on to the relatives at Rootstech. But I kept watching mine build up, and I kept doing screenshots of it. By the time it ended, I was related to, it's on here, item 35, I was related to 110,000 other attendees. Now, the only thing I can conclude from that is that, one, I'm old, and two, is that there's a lot of relatives of mine that are interested in family history, but they no longer have that available. But I did the screenshots, so I've got those screenshots available. Languages and translations. The classes were given mostly, I would guess 90% were in English, but there were many other languages. I think probably, I think it was 10 or 15 other languages, and there's subtitles that you can get in many other languages other than those, so that you can watch a class in subtitles in any one of these other languages. And if we have time, I'll show you that. My class was in English, but you can watch it with, I put on here, you can watch it with Swahili subtitles if you want to. And then for members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, there was a whole bunch of stuff. 4 of the Quorum of the 12 Apostles spoke and gave different sorts of talks and presentations. Elder and Sister Jeffrey and Patricia Holland and their family gave a wonderful presentation about growing up right here in the St. George area, where I happen to be right now. And he went on, he graduated from college and from Dixie State University here, and got his PhD at the University of, let's see, it was at Yale, and then became president of BYU and so on. But anyway, he was one of the Quorum of the 12 Apostles, and he spoke on there. And that's worthwhile watching. Item 45 is a class you might want to watch about indexing, called Magic Fingers. That's a wonderful class about a young girl who has problems, physical problems, but it shows what she's doing with that. A few things we didn't mention in here, and I put some links in here, like Erica Campbell, who's on with us today. She was involved in this item number 47, research help from experts at Rootstech. There's a link there as to how you signed up to get that research help from that. There's FAQs, frequently asked questions. There's foods. See, this whole thing was, the theme of it was on connecting people worldwide. And so they wanted people to talk about what's it like in your town, what are your customs, what are your traditions, and all that. And there's lots of different things on food. There's a whole series here on food. I was looking at it the other day, and there's something about how you make some kind of Danish pastry. I can't remember what it was, but it really sounded good. And just all kinds of different things like that. And traditions, how they are in different places around the world and so on. There's a bunch of stuff you can download for kids. There's a Rootstech World Maze and so on. It really was something on there. The details, you can go back and look at all this stuff later on, because I want to show you stuff here in a minute. The Rootstech Connect was a wonderful conference, and I'm sure its influence is going to be felt for a long time. And it'll be helpful for not just for genealogists, but for teachers or parents or anybody who's interested in a different country on the traditions and what's going on in that country and so on. Okay, now that's the notes. So those notes are all on there, and Gerhard will have that link on there for you. And he usually puts a PDF on there of these notes as well. All right, now
it's already up, Don.
Oh, good, it's already up. Okay, great. Okay, now let's go back to my PowerPoint here. Let's see, here is the PowerPoint, and that's the class notes and a quick introduction to them. Now, this is the Rootstech website and some of the stuff we're going to be looking at. There are some tutorials on there, and that's really worthwhile to watch those tutorials. They're short. They're each one maybe 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes maximum, and I think there's probably 5 or 6 of them. And I would really recommend you watch those, because you'll get a grasp of what's on that website and a lot about how to use it. You can sign in. It's free. Accounts are free. And if you do sign in, Then you get this down here. I've got playlists. You get a playlist where you can store what you're interested in and seeing and going back to later on. They had all these keynotes and all these sessions. It's easy to search for different kinds of things. I was thinking the other day, it'd be nice to have a complete list of the kind of things that you could look for, because it sometimes triggers your imagination when you see a list of different sorts of things. If you're like me, I go into a store and I can't remember what I'm supposed to buy unless I have it written down. And it's the same sort of thing when I get into a website and start looking for something. And if I have a list of things, oh yeah, I want to check on this and this and this, then it gives me some ideas and I can check on them. And that's on the searching thing. And on your playlist, if you find something you want to watch or you see something, click. Every one of each item has a thing down there where you can click on it and it'll save it to your playlist. And I'll show you my playlist here in a minute. Languages and translations, you can watch these things in different languages and so on. Now let's spend some time talking about examples and demos. So I'm going to go back to here, and this is I've got another tab already set up. Here's the Rootstech Connect. This is what the web page looks like, the website itself now. Now, I think I'm probably already logged in. You don't have to log in and set up your own account to watch it if you don't want to, but you can, and you get some added features. I'm going to check up here under menu, and I'm up here in the right-hand corner. I'm going to check on that and see if I'm signed in. Oh, no, I'm not signed in. So it says sign in. Okay, so I'm going to click. Now, I've already signed in a time or two, and so it'll probably automatically sign me in because I said, keep me in there for a while. Yeah, now see, now I click on that menu and it says sign out. So now I'm signed in. So now what I've got up here across the top there's the home thing. That's this screen that we're looking at right here. There's a guide me button here that will give you some overall pictures as to how to get into the website and some things that you might be interested in. Here's all the sessions, and there's a search term that you can use. Here's my playlist, and I'll show you that. I've got about 200 things on that playlist. It's going to take me a year to get through those. And then the Expo Hall, it's got all the stuff related to the vendors and anything related to genealogy, the technology and all that sort of thing. Now, right here in the middle is this thing. It says, we all search for a connection. I won't take time to click on that, but this is it's a 3-minute video about connections. And you click on that thing and it will play this video, which will introduce you to what this whole thing is about. And the connections are for past, present, and future to make us feel we belong, because we all belong to something. And if you figure out what you belong to, it helps you mentally and every other way to taking care of things. So that's right here near the top. Now I'm just scrolling down on the web page here. It says, welcome to the family, and something about Rootstech, and there's a history of Rootstech in here and so on. I'm scrolling on down. Here's a thing that you can click to get to the sessions, and there's another thing up there at the top that gave the sessions. Here's a list of some of the sessions, featured sessions, and there's Elder and Sister Holland's, Jeffrey and Pat Holland's class. You can click on that right there, and bunches of others here. Beginner Polynesian genealogy. There's all kinds of stuff on here. You just look at some of these things and you find just a gold mine of information as to what's going on. That's only the first part of it. There's a lot more, as we'll see in a minute. Here's Guide Me. This is another section here where if you not really know what to do, this will give you some help as to what direction that you might want to go. Here's one on traditions and DNA and research and resources and so on. There's a kind of a world map with a picture. 100,000. There were actually 1 million people that signed up from 242 countries. People attended this meeting, and there's only 250 countries, something like that, in the whole world. So only about 10 countries were not represented by somebody signing up in that country for the stuff. It was really something. Here's the Expo Hall. There's particular things for Family Search, for Ancestry, and for MyHeritage. They were the big, three of the big spenders that helped to pay for a bunch of this stuff. And then down here below, and there were many others, hundreds of others besides them. Here's the Discovery Day. This is the stuff primarily for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And there's this thing, featured sessions. There's the one on food. That's the link that I clicked for you, put on the notes. My hometown and traditions, traditions in every different country in the world you can think of, and so on. They had a song contest. Some of the songs were pretty good on there, and the people recorded them in advance. The Rootstech Connect family photo was a photo that consisted of everybody that sent in a picture that they could use. Here's some stuff for downloading for kids. This is where that world maze thing is. That's this one over here that I put the link up there. There's other stuff in here for kids and for things that are going on. And then here's a list of the different people that supported in major ways that supported it. What I was hoping that they would have, and it's not down here, is a site map. Frequently, and at the bottom of a website, there's a site map that tells you how to get to anywhere you want. But this didn't have it. Well, I didn't check on some of this other stuff. I probably ought to check a little bit further on some of those things to see what's there. But anyway, you get the idea as to what's going on. Now, let's go back up here near the top and show you a couple of things that are going on. This is the home page, and you can always get to the home page by clicking on this thing, this Rootstech. That's their logo. If you click on that, it takes you back to this wherever you are. You see that in the upper left corner, and you can always get right back to this home page from there. And this home page does the same thing. Here's this Guide Me. I'm going to click on that. And what this is, it says, not sure where to start. We've created a collection of the popular sessions that you might want to start. So here's one, Getting Started, a whole series on getting started. And there's different kinds of things on here as to what you might want to do in getting started with different sorts of things. Here's getting started with family search. Here's finding ancestors and homelands, and so on. And each one of those are a whole series. There are a series of them. And you can see where it says see more here. If you click on that, it opens up more of these things. So that's, you're only seeing the first row of some of these things here. And there may be 10 or 20 more rows on there. I won't take time to click on that now. Here's family search and some ideas that you might want to do on family search and things that you can get to. Now you see some of these that have a check in them. Those are ones that I have already checked and put on my playlist. We'll talk more details about playlists later, but because it's got that check in it, you see when I highlight that, it says, if you click on that now, it'll remove it from your playlist. I'll show you my playlist here in just a couple of minutes. Here's about ancestry and how you use ancestry stuff, bunches of stuff on there. MyHeritage, how you use them. DNA, how you use that. For members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, here's bunches of stuff for that. How you organize an award or in a stake, what you could do. Our quest for connections, different sorts of things. What you can do for different places, homeland heritage, all sorts of different things of that, advanced skills, what you might need for looking for further advanced skills, for archives, for archivists, if you're interested in the archives of different things. I'm just scrolling down here and see each one of these has a see more, so there's more stuff that you can click on that. Here's African heritage for Black genealogy. There's one here, there's Jewish genealogy, Jewish heritage stuff, general Jewish genealogy overview, Ashkenazic research, just Sephardic research, all these things. These are series of classes. See where it says series. That's a whole series of classes related to that. Native American, and that's at the bottom. And each one of these things opens up into different collections of things. Now let me go back up here to the top and show you my playlist. I'm scrolling back up here. once you sign up for an account, free account, you get a playlist, and it stores it online. All this is stored online, and so whenever I come in here and log in and I store it, this is my playlist with all my stuff in it. Now this goes on. There's your sessions. These are things that I've clicked that this looked like something that I might want to look at sometime. And so there, you can see what I've got here and how long it's going to take me to go through this kind of stuff. And this goes on and on and on. And it quits after a while here, and then it says, okay, see more. And so I clicked more, and it brought in about 3 or 4 more lines there. I'm going to click see more and see more. And I probably got 200 different things on here that might be of interest to me that I want to go through. Let's see if I've clicked on. I'll show you where my class is here if I can, because that's in here. The one thing you do have a problem with is you can't. There's no way to put this stuff in folders or to alphabetize it, and so you can't find the stuff that you're looking for. I know what the picture looks like on mine, and I haven't found it yet. I may not have gotten down far enough to open it up, but if I didn't, I'll just go through and yeah, I didn't. Okay, I'll show you mine. It's on my playlist, but further down. I'll show you by going over here to the sessions. Click on the sessions, and this starts the sessions, and here they are. And there's a thing in here where you can search for anything by any subject you want. I'm going to put in here snow. Oops, I got to spell it right. It does not know how to spell right. That's the one thing. So I got to put in here S-N-O-W. I don't think caps matter, but other things do matter. Oh, there's mine. That's what the thing looks like right there. Ourtimelines.com, showing lives in context by Donald R. Snow. And see, I've got a check there. It's on my playlist, but I probably didn't open the playlist far enough. I clicked on it to open it up, and they put that picture on there. On the original thing. I didn't put that picture in, but they put it in there. And then there's information that you can watch this on YouTube. Here's a little outline about it, about what it was all about and about what the stuff is. And you can save it. Everything has a save. This button would be light colored. It would say save in my playlist if I hadn't already saved it. Now it says remove from my playlist. If you go up here and start clicking, if you click on this thing, it will open up the Rootstech Connect 2021. There's the information, our timelines.
Welcome, you folks. Welcome to.
And now what you're seeing and what you're hearing is what's recorded on there.
This is a new experience for all of us. You folks may be watching this anywhere in the world, and a lot of you this will be your first time attending a Rootstech meeting.
Now, I won't let that go any further, but you can watch that anytime you want. Any of the classes, that's an example of a class. Now, on the classes, there's a thing that says, do you want to watch this in subtitles in any other language? And so if the class is given in German, but you want to watch it with English subtitles, you can. Or if it's given in whatever language, you can watch it in the different subtitles. That's giving you kind of a rough background as to what's going on with it. Over here under the Expo Hall, this is where all the vendors, where they had their information and what they were doing and what they were selling, and they still got good prices on bunches of stuff that you can log on to. There are all sorts of different kinds of things, and the different sponsors itself on there. Now that's just a quick overview of what went on and what's on that website. And once you get hooked on there, you'll find out all kinds of different sorts of things that you can look at. Let's go back to my PowerPoint and finish up. So those are the expo, the demos. Now, as a quick summary, we looked at the Rootstech Connect website. And that's going to be online and free, completely free. They don't ask you for a credit card or anything. Completely free for the next year until just before Rootstech 2022. starts, and they're adding stuff to it all the time. The whole goal was to connect people, both past, present, and future, and because of that, it's not just genealogy stuff. It's how you do things to find even living people and other sorts of things. You can get a free account, and with your free account, you get a playlist that you can store your information on so that you can come back to it later on. There were keynote addresses, and there's some really good keynote addresses on there. There's 8 or 10, something like that. They're all noted on there, and you can click on those. Classes, handouts are available on all of those sorts of things. Languages and translations, they really thought of just a lot of things to make this worldwide, and boy, it was a major success by any measure. And they're adding stuff to it all year long. It's not static, but they're adding more stuff to it as it goes. Now, that's a quick summary. And if you're like me, you get hooked on there. You start looking, you lose track of time. Now, do you have any questions or comments that you want to ask right now before we finish up? By the way, I'm doing a version of this class next Saturday morning for the Utah Valley Technology and Genealogy Group, and that'll be online as well. That'll be a little bit longer. I'll have a little bit more time there. But you've got the background of the thing here, and the details are on the notes. Any questions or comments? Just unmute your mic if you do have, and ask them.
I have one, Don Gerhardt here.
All right.
Which of the keynote addresses did you enjoy the most?
I watched a couple of them, and there's one by a fellow who has no arms and legs.
Nick Vujicic.
That's the Vujich, something like that. He's a motivational speaker, and boy, well, anyway, you get a good bit of information from him. But that's only one of them that was. I watched. Well, there was one by some guy. He's a famous movie actor. He's in. I didn't recognize him because I don't watch movies that much, but he told about the history of. He was born in Turkey, I think it was, or someplace over there, and went to Australia and various other places, and he had some interesting comments.
He was from India.
Yeah, that's right, India. Yeah, originally from India, and then he went to Africa, and then from Africa to someplace he ended up in New York City, and then in California.
But his family was Persian.
That's the one. That's the one. That's the one. Yeah. And anyway, just what we need to do is we need to compile a list of here's some recommended ones. And after somebody asked me that question the other day, I thought, boy, there's a good Freeware Corner article. Here's a list of classes of all these 1,500 that would be good to watch.
I have two that I really enjoyed, Don, because they delved so much into their background and personal stories.
Uh-huh.
You know, the one was by Elder and Sister Holland with their whole family, and the other one was by the president of UVU, Astrid Tumines.
Oh, that's one I haven't watched, but I want to.
Oh, yeah. I had heard her speak before, but she went into a lot of detail about the early challenges of her life in the Philippines, etc. That was really remarkable.
Yeah, she grew up as in the slums of the Philippines, but her mom wanted her to go to college, and so she went to college. She got a college degree, and then she came to the U.S. to Harvard, wasn't it? She got her PhD in Harvard.
Yep.
And then I don't know where she was then, but she's now the president of Utah Valley University in Orem, Utah, which is the biggest university in the state of Utah. And she's the president of it.
Yep.
It's remarkable. Anyway, she gave a talk about her history. I haven't watched that one yet, but it's one on my list.
I have one other quick comment, Don.
Okay.
Oh, hold on. Somebody else has one.
It's okay. Go ahead. Go ahead and finish, and then I'll talk.
Yeah, a lot of people were commenting on how simple and how this whole series was just for beginner genealogists. I found so much detailed stuff there on stuff I was interested in that I'd never learned before.
Yeah.
Like in DNA, and that was just remarkable how the depth of things that I wasn't ever familiar with, and I thought I knew DNA.
Yeah, right. That's the thing about it. We think we know stuff, but you learn more from anybody who talks. You learn something. Oh, now somebody else had a comment.
I did have a comment. I was thrown off a little bit by the short sessions. I didn't realize that that was the real session. I thought, oh, well, that's just an introduction. And I kept looking for more. And then I finally found, and I was interested in research help. And so I finally found a couple that were really good about research help and how to do deeper research, which was what I wanted. But I was surprised that it took me so long to figure out how to get to the things that I really wanted. So I'm going to have to get on here and make my own list so I can get back to mine.
Make your playlist and then type in whatever you're interested in that search box, and you'll find all kinds of things.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good comment, because most of us I didn't know how that was going to work. My class is, I think, 25 minutes long, something like that. When they invited us to speak, they said you can do a 20-minute class or anything up to 20 minutes. Or if it's going to be longer, you can do 2 20-minute classes or even 3 20-minute classes. But I didn't see very many that were anything more than 1 20-minute class. And one of the classes was only 5 minutes. But boy, I learned a major thing in 5 minutes. And I tried it out right then, and it worked.
Yeah.
Any other comments or questions? Well, I appreciate all you being with us today. We've talked about the Rootstech Connect 2021 website, and it's a lot of good stuff in there. And I'll be doing this a little bit longer version of this next Saturday morning at the UV Tag meeting. That'll be on Facebook as well as on Zoom for members of the organization, but on Facebook for everybody. All right. Thank you, people. Appreciate you.